Good morning. It's Thursday, March 13th. And today I want to read you, first of all, some of the Bible in chapter 3 of Mark. It starts with verse 1. And he entered the synagogue again, and a man was there who had a withered hand. So they watched him, the Pharisees, closely, whether he would heal him on the Sabbath, so that they might accuse him. And he said to the man who had the withered hand, "Step forward." Then he said to them, the Pharisees, "Is it lawful on the Sabbath to do good or to do evil, to save life or to kill?" But they kept silent. And when he had looked around at them with anger, being grieved at the hardness of their hearts, he said to the man, "Stretch out your hand." And he stretched it out, and his hand was restored as whole as the other. So he made the Pharisees mad because it was a rule, a law, to not do anything on the Sabbath. And they were looking for excuses to kill him. They did not like him. They didn't like him coming in and saying he was God. So they were definitely looking for specific things to accuse him of. But it got me thinking, and I want to be careful when I say this. There's times in our lives when we have to do something that may not be what the authorities tell us. Now, number one, I was against January 6th. I do not believe in killing, hurting, destroying, and they were calling out other people to kill. That was wrong. That was selfish, and that was wrong because you were hurting human beings. But there are times, like when unfortunately, this country had slaves at one time with black people. I'm sorry if I'm not saying the right words, but they were slaves, and they were under the authority of their masters and the government, because at that point the government said, yes, you can have slaves. And then some ran away, and some people helped the others run away, and they stood up for themselves, and it was hard. Many died. Many were severely hurt, more than we'll ever know. We never knew exactly what happened between a master and his slave, but eventually we recognized the truth, which was all people are equal people, and we should not do that. There's another example, and this is during the Holocaust, when the soldiers were doing what their government told them to do. The German soldiers, and they killed men, women, and children, and treated them so terribly. And it was a major thing that we should never forget. Now, did them German soldiers do right because they listened to their government, to their authority? The answer is no. They did wrong if they participated in this. And, sometimes we have to make a choice, and it might cost us our life. It might cost us our pride, our money, our home, but we have to make a choice what is right. And how do we do that when the law says one thing, or our husbands or our wives or our parents say one thing and we know something else is right? Well, first of all, you got to focus on God. Keep the focus on God and ask Him, Lord, should I do this? And you will know in your heart if it is right or wrong. Now, I'm not saying go around breaking the law. We are supposed to follow the law and pray for our government, which needs lots of prayers, and we are supposed to do everything it says. And I'm not saying this is necessarily about our government. I'm saying if someone asks you to hurt somebody, And you know that that doesn't make sense, no matter who they are, no matter if they're leader of a gang, if they're leader of the town, if they're, it doesn't matter. To hurt or kill somebody is wrong. It's simple, basic. And, sometimes we accept things and we just keep going along and accepting things, and it's kind of funny, and sometimes, and we kind of just join the crowd, just like they said with Jesus, kill him, kill him. And those Roman soldiers, even though it was all in God's plan, each Roman soldier had to account for what he did in some way or another. And, but the crowd of people, they joined in together and they said, kill him, put him to death, and because that's what happens. People get in crowds and they start to not see, and that's exactly what January 6th was too. They stop focusing on God and they start focusing on the energy and the adrenaline of the crowd. That's why they say violence begets violence, abuse begets abuse, because when you're in a violent home, it becomes normal for people to hurt people or animals or anything else when you're in an abusive home, and you think this is normal. So you have to focus on God. You have to learn what is right. And it says later on, it says God's law is written in our hearts. And so listen to your heart and do what's right, not what's accepted. And that's a fine line. I'm not saying break any laws. I'm saying if your neighbor is hurting her children, speak up and say something. Don't be a nice neighbor. Get out there and say something. Protect those children. If you're being injured or beaten, it's not right to stay with your marriage. Get out, say something, get out, do whatever you can to save yourself. So those things, we need to look to God. We need to say, God, is this right? Is this what you want for me? Jesus said clearly he wants us to have abundant life. He wants us to have life and live it abundantly. He wants us to have a good life, a peaceful life, a life filled with joy, no matter what. But it's sometimes hard work because we got to get through all the clutter. So, anyway, you have a great day, and God bless you.